Commander Ellis Grant stood proudly on the command deck of the Earthship Defender. Today was meant to be extraordinary. After years of broadcasting signals into the vast cosmos, humanity had finally made contact with extraterrestrials known as the Zenturi. Both parties had mutually agreed to gather and discuss the prospect of peace. "Sir, the Zenturi vessel is prepared to receive our visitors," reported Officer Wendy Miller, glancing up from her console. Grant gave a curt nod. "How are the children holding up?" he inquired. "They're thrilled, sir. Miss Rivera has them assembled and ready," Miller replied. Grant couldn't help but smile. Including the elementary school group had been a wise move. What better way to demonstrate peaceful intentions than by showcasing humanity's most innocent members? The children were part of a special tour aboard the ship, set to briefly encounter the alien representatives. The primary display screen projected an image of the Zenturi craft, immense and angular, adorned with unusual blue luminescence. General Vexstar, the alien leader, had appeared rational during their preliminary conversations. Although his scaly azure skin and quartet of eyes were distinctly alien, his commitment to peace had seemed authentic. "Establish communication," Grant commanded. The screen flickered, revealing General Vexstar, who inclined his head slightly. "Commander Grant, we are prepared to resume our diplomatic dialogue." "Perfect, General. Our diplomatic unit is..." An alarm suddenly pierced the air, echoing throughout the vessel. Officer Miller raised her voice in alarm. "Sir, a small Zenturi craft has just departed from their primary ship." Grant's gaze fixed on the screen. "General Vexstar, clarify this situation." Vexstar's four eyes widened, clearly caught off guard. "I issued no launch orders. Allow me to investigate." More alarms rang out, followed by a distress call. "Security breach in Section 7, someone shouted. Grant's stomach tightened. Section 7, the very area where 23 elementary students were touring with their teacher. "All security units, proceed to Section 7 immediately," Grant barked, sprinting toward the nearest elevator. By the time he arrived, the scene was chaotic, shocked crew members and Miss Rivera sobbing. "They took them," she cried. "They incapacitated me and abducted 5 of the kids." Grant seized his communicator. "Bridge. Status of the Zenturi craft?" "It's accelerating towards the system's perimeter, sir. They'll reach jump capacity in 2 minutes." Grant dashed back to the bridge, his pulse racing. On the central display, General Vexstar appeared agitated. "Commander Grant, I did not sanction this. Lieutenant Krall has acted independently with the scout vessel. They took your children?" "Yes," Grant responded sharply. 5 of our young, Lily Martinez, twins Peter and Paul Baker, Katie Johnson and Owen Phillips, aged between 8 and 12. They are neither soldiers nor emissaries. They are merely children. Vexstar's complexion paled to a lighter hue. "Children, your young ones? Krall took them?" "Yes, and you must ensure their safe return." Vexstar hurriedly issued orders to his subordinates in his native tongue. Turning back, his eyes reflected a newfound apprehension. "Commander, I am making every effort to re-establish contact with Krall's ship. This unauthorized act will be dealt with." On a secondary screen, Officer Miller tracked the smaller Zenturi craft as it achieved jump speed and vanished into hyperspace. "Sir, it's gone," she reported, her tone somber. Grant glared at Vexstar, the temperature in the room seeming to plummet. "General, I don't care whether this was permitted or not. I expect the safe return of those children, unharmed." "I comprehend," Vexstar replied, but Grant interrupted, his voice unnervingly composed. "No, you don't. Those are human children. You have no idea what you've just unleashed. There is no place in this galaxy where Lieutenant Krall can remain hidden. We will find him. We will retrieve our children, and if they are hurt..." He left the sentence unfinished. The look on Vexstar's face showed he grasped the gravity of the threat. What was intended as a groundbreaking encounter between humans and extraterrestrials, heralding a new age of harmony, had transformed into the prelude to something far darker. In his command chamber, General Vexstar paced restlessly, his 4 eyes blinking in rapid succession, a distinct sign of Zenturi anxiety. Around him, his staff scrambled to track down Krall's rogue vessel. "Any progress?" Vexstar demanded of his communications officer. "None, General. Krall is ignoring our signals." Vexstar slammed his tri-digital hand on the control panel in frustration. "Keep trying. This catastrophe must be resolved." An elder Centauri officer, Commander Zell, approached cautiously. As the most seasoned member of Vexstar's team, having served for over 7 decades, Zell's demeanor remained calm. General, why are you so distressed? They are merely humans. Yes, abducting their young was wrong, but surely their response will be manageable. Vexstar turned, his expression grave. You don't comprehend, Zell. There are ancient tales, scripts from the era before our journey to the stars. They tell of a race called the Destroyers, creatures driven by wrath and unstoppable when provoked. Everything remained serene until their young were endangered. At that point, they would annihilate entire worlds. Surely, those are mere ancient tales meant to frighten young Centauri, Zell responded. Suddenly, the communication console emitted a sharp beep. General, we've re-established contact with Krall's vessel. The primary display flickered to life, revealing Lieutenant Krall, his expression radiating ambition. Lieutenant Krall, return to base immediately. That is a direct command. Vexstar's voice was sharp with authority. Krall's smile widened. I cannot comply, General. The opportunity was simply too perfect. These human juveniles will enable us to decipher how they develop at such an extraordinary pace. What do you mean? Vexstar demanded, though a deep, unsettling suspicion had already gripped him. Humans advanced from rudimentary technology to interstellar travel in mere centuries. Our species required millennia to achieve the same. There must be a unique aspect to their growth and learning processes. Studying their young will provide us with the answer. Behind Krall, Vexstar noticed one of the human children, a young girl with dark hair, observing her surroundings from within what seemed like a containment cell. She wasn't crying. Instead, her keen eyes scanned everything with curiosity and intelligence. Krall, you fool! Vexstar thundered. Return those children immediately. You have no idea of the consequences. Oh, but I do, General, Krall responded, his voice laced with pride. I will deliver groundbreaking research to the Empire. The High Command will commend me, not punish me. With that, the transmission abruptly ended. Show me the human fleet, Vexstar ordered his tactical officer. The main screen shifted to display the Earthships, and what he saw sent a chill through him. Every human vessel was moving with unmistakable purpose, their numbers growing as reinforcements arrived. Their formation was flawless, like predators gathering for a hunt. They're mobilizing their entire fleet, whispered the tactical officer, and they're transmitting signals to all their colonies and bases. General, another officer reported, we're detecting energy signatures from Earth that we've never witnessed before. They're activating systems they never disclosed during our diplomatic talks. Vexstar's gaze remained fixed on the screen. They were concealing their true capabilities all along. At that moment, an incoming transmission interrupted his thoughts. Commander Grant's face appeared on the monitor, but the warm, diplomatic smile from before had vanished. His expression was now severe, his eyes cold and resolute. General Vexstar, the Stellar Defense Protocol has been activated. Human fleets across 3 sectors are converging. We will recover our children. You have 6 hours to ensure their safe return before we commence our search operations. If your people assist us, we might still avoid conflict. If you shelter Krall, we will interpret it as a declaration of war by your entire species. The message ended, leaving a heavy silence. Vexstar turned to his staff, who were now fully aware of the gravity of the crisis. Contact the High Command immediately, Vexstar ordered. Inform them that Lieutenant Krall has likely initiated an interspecies conflict, one we cannot hope to win. As his officers scrambled to comply, Vexstar's eyes returned to the display, where the human fleet moved with lethal precision. The ancient legends were true, he whispered, a sense of dread settling over him. We have awakened the Destroyers. In the vast, dimly lit briefing room, Admiral Susan Clark stood before Earth's highest-ranking military leaders. Her silver hair was neatly pulled back, and her expression remained unreadable. Projected on the massive screen behind her were the images of the 5 abducted children. Lily Martinez, age 10, Peter and Paul Baker, age 8, twins, Katie Johnson, age 12 tar, Owen Phillips, age 9. These children were seized 4 hours ago by a Centauri officer named Lieutenant Krall, she announced, pointing to each child's image. With a click, the display shifted to a star map dotted with glowing icons representing Earth's ships. Our entire fleet is converging on Zenturi space. However, we require a swift, specialized team to secure our children's immediate rescue. A side door slid open, and 3 individuals entered the chamber, standing at attention before Admiral Clark. "These are the operatives I have selected for the mission," she declared. Frank Diaz, a former Navy SEAL and a father of 2, stood alongside Sandra Mitchell, an intelligence specialist with 3 children, and Ethan Peterson, a combat medic who was a father to 1. As Admiral Clark called out their names, each of them gave a confident nod. "Every one of you understands the responsibility of being a parent," Admiral Clark began, her tone firm but empathetic. "You also possess the expertise we require. Your objective is straightforward: locate the children and bring them back safely. Any questions?" Frank Diaz stepped forward. "What information do we have on the children's current location?" "Very little at the moment," Clark admitted, "but Dr. Winters may have something useful." Almost on cue, a door at the opposite end of the room swung open. A man with wild gray hair and glasses entered, a tablet in his grasp. "This is Dr. Alan Winters, head of our Advanced Technology Division," Admiral Clark introduced. Dr. Winters wasted no time with formalities. "We have a ship prepped for your mission, a new stealth model that the Zenturi are completely unaware of." He tapped on his tablet, displaying a schematic. More importantly, it's equipped with an experimental tracking system. "How does it work?" Sandra Mitchell inquired, leaning forward. "It traces microscopic particles that ships leave behind when they enter hyperspace," Winters explained. "Think of it like tracking footprints in the snow. It will allow us to trace Krall's ship's path precisely." In another part of the same facility, Maria Martinez sat with her hands tightly clasped, anxiety evident in her posture. Her daughter Lily was among the missing children. Beside her, Daniel Phillips, the father of Owen, sat silently. Around them, other parents were gathered, their expressions a mix of fear and anger. A female officer stepped into the room. "The Admiral would like to speak with you all." Moments later, Admiral Clark entered, her usually stern demeanor softened slightly. "I understand your worry. I would be too if I were in your place," she began, her voice steady but sympathetic. "But I want you to know that we are utilizing every resource available to recover your children." "What are those aliens doing to them?" Maria's voice was filled with fear, her hands trembling. "We can't say for certain," Clark admitted, "but the Zenturi leader, General Vextar, appears genuinely shocked by what has happened. He is cooperating with us." Daniel Phillips rose from his seat. "What can we do to assist?" Clark's gaze met his, filled with respect. "Right now, the most important thing you can do is help us understand your children, their behaviors, their talents, anything that might be relevant. Our rescue team needs to be fully informed." The parents exchanged determined looks, a spark of resolve replacing some of their initial fear. Meanwhile, in another section of the base, Frank, Sandra, and Ethan were boarding the sleek, stealth-equipped ship. The pilot, Lieutenant Nancy Weber, greeted them as they stepped aboard. "All systems are green. Dr. Winters' tracking array is fully operational," she reported confidently. Frank paused for a moment, taking one last look at Earth through the ship's viewport. "Let's bring those kids home," he murmured, his voice steady but filled with purpose. The stealth vessel ascended silently, disappearing among the stars. The rescue mission had officially begun. Lieutenant Krall observed the 5 human children through a large viewing screen. They were confined in a spacious room, equipped with simple beds and a table. He had anticipated fear, perhaps crying or panic. Instead, the children were seated together, engaged in quiet conversation. "Remarkable," Krall muttered to his science officer. "They've organized themselves without any adult supervision." The scientist nodded. The oldest child, Katie, is clearly taking charge. On the screen, 12-year-old Katie Johnson had her arm around the younger ones, the Baker twins, Lily Martinez and Owen Phillips, who were busy drawing on some paper the aliens had provided. "What are they drawing?" Krall inquired. The science officer enhanced the image. "It appears to be a rough map of our facility, sir." Krall's expression shifted to shock. "How could they know the layout? They haven't left this room." The young boy, Peter Baker, was watching closely as we brought them in. Perhaps he has an exceptional memory. Kral leaned closer to the display. Initiate the first test tomorrow. I want to comprehend how their minds operate. In a part of the room unseen by the camera, Peter Baker was working quickly, his small fingers deftly connecting wires he had scavenged from a toy provided by the Zenturi. How's it coming? Katie whispered, glancing over at him. Almost finished, Peter replied, his focus unwavering. At science camp last summer, we learned how to make simple circuits. In the grand conference chamber of the Zenturi High Command, General Vexar stood before the council of 9 venerable Zenturi elders. Their expressions were stern, radiating disapproval. So you're telling us, began High Commander Draz, his voice laced with skepticism, that we should be concerned about these humans simply because they are enraged over a few of their young? Vexar inhaled deeply, steadying himself. High Commanders, these are not just any species. I've been delving into their history since this crisis began. Allow me to demonstrate. With a swift motion, he activated a display screen that illuminated with scenes from Earth's history. Throughout their recorded history, whenever their offspring have been endangered, their response has been nothing short of overwhelming force. No negotiations, no mercy. The screen displayed a montage of historical events. Vast armies marching, fleets of ships cutting through the oceans, squadrons of aircraft soaring through the skies. Humans had crossed continents, braved deserts, and fought through jungles, all to safeguard their young. And now, Vexar continued, they have starships. High Commander Draz dismissed his concern with a casual wave. We've faced numerous species with starships before. Not like this, Vexar pressed, his tone growing urgent. The humans have been concealing their true capabilities. Look. The display shifted to a real-time analysis. Human fleets were maneuvering with flawless coordination, utilizing advanced technology the Zenturi had never seen before. At that moment, the chamber doors burst open and a young officer rushed in, breathless. High Commanders, we have an urgent report. Speak, Draz commanded. Human vessels have simultaneously appeared at every major Zenturi military base across our territory. They bypassed all of our early warning systems. Silence settled over the chamber, only to be shattered by a cacophony of startled whispers from the High Commanders. Impossible! How did they discover all our installations? One demanded. Our stealth technology is the finest in the galaxy, another protested. General Vexar closed his eyes for a brief second, his voice a somber murmur. This is what I was trying to tell you. They are coming for their young, and nothing will stand in their way. Finally, understanding the gravity of the situation, High Commander Draz straightened. Where is Lieutenant Krall's vessel now? At the research outpost on the moon of Zenturi Prime, our home world, Vexar answered, his voice tense. I've attempted to reach him, but he is ignoring all communication. Then we must recover those human children ourselves, Draz declared firmly. General Vexar, take your swiftest ship and bring them back before the humans reach our capital. Vexar saluted and turned to leave, but just as he reached the exit, Draz's voice echoed once more. And Vexar, if you fail, we may all suffer the consequences. The piercing sound of alarms suddenly filled the chamber. A message flashed across the main screen. Human ships have breached the outer defense perimeter of Zenturi Prime. The chase was closing in. The guards left to escort Katie Johnson, and Krall smiled quietly to himself. Soon, he would unravel the mysteries of human advancement, and his name would become renowned throughout the Zenter Empire. Suddenly, alarms erupted loudly as a guard rushed into the room. Sir, an unidentified vessel is approaching, he reported. Krell frowned. Impossible. This facility is concealed, sir, and it's not responding to our transmissions. Before Krell could answer, the building trembled from an explosion. The children in the holding area felt the shock. Katie quickly stood up. That might be our rescue, she said. Everyone, remember the plan. The others nodded in agreement. Peter held up his homemade gadget. The camera's offline. They can't see us now. Good, Katie replied. Lily and Owen, stay with the twins. I'll check the door. As Katie approached the door, it suddenly swung open. She stepped back, startled. General Vexar stood there, his 4 eyes blinking rapidly. Do not fear, he said in careful English. I am here to bring you home. Katie hesitated. Why should we trust you? You're one of them. No time for explanations, Vexar said. More humans are coming and there will be fighting. I need to get you to safety first. Another explosion shook the facility, this time closer. Vexar glanced over his shoulder nervously. Please, he pleaded. I am trying to avoid war. If you perish here, humans will annihilate my world. Katie studied him carefully, then nodded. All right, but we stay together. Of course, Vexar agreed. As they moved toward the exit, the sound of gunfire echoed throughout the compound. The rescue had turned into a battle. Ethan Peterson triggered another blast at the main entrance. Guards rushed toward the commotion, exactly as planned. That should draw their attention, he said into his communicator. Sandra, how's your position? I'm in place, Sandra replied from another part of the complex. I've taken out 2 guards heading to the security room. Frank, what's your status? Ethan asked. Frank Diaz moved silently along a rear corridor. I'm following the building blueprints. Should reach the children's location in 2 minutes. Unbeknownst to them, the children were no longer in their holding cell. General Vexar was guiding them through service tunnels, attempting to reach his ship. Stay close, Vexar instructed the children. These tunnels aren't often used, but we might still encounter others. Katie Johnson walked beside him, carefully observing his every move. Behind her, Lily Martinez assisted the Baker twins while Owen Phillips brought up the rear. Why are you helping us? Katie asked Vexar. The alien general's 4 eyes appeared sorrowful. Because Krall was wrong to abduct you, and I do not wish my people to be destroyed. Will humans really obliterate your entire world? Owen asked from behind. Vexar nodded. Yes, our ancient legends call humans the destroyers. Now I understand why. Meanwhile, Lieutenant Krall was in a panic. He burst into the security room just as Sandra disabled the last guard. Stop, he shouted, aiming a weapon at her. Sandra turned slowly, hands raised. Lieutenant Krall, I presume, who are you? How did humans arrive here so quickly? Krall demanded. We're parents, Sandra answered simply. Where are the children? Krall laughed nervously. Do you think I'd tell you? They're my research subjects, my path to fame. They're just kids. Sandra replied calmly, You've made a grave mistake. While they spoke, Sandra discreetly pressed a button on her wrist device, signaling her location to the others. In the service tunnels, Vexar suddenly halted. There's someone ahead, he whispered. A figure appeared around the corner. Weapon ready, he instructed. It's Frank Diaz. Stop right there, Frank ordered upon seeing Vexar with the children. Vexar raised his hand slowly. I am General Vexar. I am helping the children escape. It's okay, Katie said quickly. He's been helping us. Frank remained cautious but lowered his weapon slightly. Where were you taking them? To my ship, Vexar answered, to return them to Earth. Their conversation was interrupted by a message from Sandra. Frank, I found Krall in the security room, but he's armed. Need backup. Where is the security room from here? Frank asked. This way, Vexar said, pointing down another tunnel. But the children. Stay with them, Frank ordered. If you truly want to help, keep them safe until I return. Frank sprinted down the tunnel toward the security room. Upon arrival, he found Sandra and Krell locked in a standoff. It's over, Krell, Frank announced from the doorway. Your own general is helping us bring the children home. Vexar looked at Krall in disbelief. He's a traitor. No, Frank replied. He's wise enough to recognize when he's made a mistake. Krall suddenly lunged toward a control panel mounted on the wall. If I can't claim the human children for my research, then no one will, he declared. Sandra witnessed the move and fired her weapon, but Krall evaded the shot. His hand slammed down on a large red button. Self-destruct sequence initiated, a robotic voice announced. 5 minutes until detonation. Frank tackled Krall to the floor. Turn it off! I can't! Krall laughed bitterly. No one can! Sandra was already heading for the exit. We have to get the children out immediately. Alarms blared throughout the compound as the urgent race to escape began. Meanwhile, deep within the tunnels, 5 human children waited alongside an alien general striving to protect them and his own world. 4 minutes until self-destruction, the mechanical voice echoed through the complex. Frank Dass dragged Lieutenant Krall behind him as he and Sandra sprinted down the corridors. This way, Sandra called out, following the map on her wrist device. They rounded a corner and encountered General Vexar with the children and Ethan, who had joined them after hearing the alarm. We must reach the ships now, Frank urged. This entire facility is about to explode. Vexar pointed toward a door. My ship is stationed through there at landing pad 3. Our ship is on pad 5, Ethan added. 3 minutes until detonation. Frank quickly made a decision. Vexar, take Crawl with you. We'll escort the children on our ship. Crawl struggled against Frank's grip. I won't go. My research isn't finished. Vexar grasped his subordinate firmly. It's over. Katie stepped forward. Wait, General Vexar has helped us. He should come with us. Before anyone could respond, a section of the ceiling collapsed nearby, blocking the route to landing pad 3. 2 minutes until self-destruct. Now what? Sandra asked. Everyone, come with us to pad 5, Frank decided. There's room on our ship. They dashed together through the trembling building. Pieces of the walls crumbled, and fires had ignited in some rooms. Owen Phillips tripped over debris, but Vexar swiftly lifted him up and carried him. 1 minute until detonation. They finally reached landing pad 5, where Lieutenant Nancy Weber was readying the ship. The engines were running and the door stood open. Hurry, she called from the cockpit. Everyone rushed inside. Frank counted heads swiftly. 5 children, his team, Vexar, and Crawl. The door shut just as the final countdown began. 30 seconds to detonation. Nancy pushed the throttle to full power. The ship ascended rapidly, fleeing the exploding compound. Behind them, the countdown hit 0, and the entire facility erupted into a massive fireball. Is everyone all right? Ethan asked, checking each child for injuries. All safe, came the replies. Lily Martinez sat beside Vexar, eyeing him curiously. Your skin is blue, she noted simply. Vexar nodded. Yes. And mine isn't. But we aren't so different, are we? Lily asked. The alien general's 4 eyes blinked slowly. No, little one, I am learning that we are not so different. 1 week later, all 5 children stood with their parents inside a spacious conference room at Earth Defense Headquarters. Admiral Clark entered, accompanied by several high-ranking officers and General Vexar, who was now the official Zenturi ambassador to Earth. Children, Admiral Clark addressed them. You demonstrated remarkable courage. Earth is proud of you. Each child was presented with a special medal. Katie Johnson stepped forward. What happened to Lieutenant Crawl? She inquired. General Vexar responded, he has been relieved of duty and will face consequences for his actions and for the Zenturi people. We are learning, Owen Phillips said. For millennia, my people believed strength came from conquest, Vexar explained. But humans have taught us an important truth. Real strength is measured by what you protect, not what you conquer. Admiral Clark nodded. Today, we sign a new peace treaty, not just between leaders, but between our peoples. A document lay on the table. As the adults prepared to sign, Peter Baker approached General Vexar and handed him a drawing. What is this? Vexar asked, examining the picture. It's a Zentari and a human holding hands, Peter explained. I drew it for you. Vexar gently took the artwork with his 3-fingered hand. For the first time, the human saw what might have been a smile on his alien face. Later that evening, Lily Martinez gazed out her bedroom window at the stars. Her mother entered and sat beside her. Are you okay, sweetheart? Maria asked. Lily nodded. I'm not afraid of aliens anymore. Some are good, some are bad, just like people. Her mother hugged her. That's very wise. Mom, Lily said, still watching the sky, do you think I could be an ambassador someday, like General Vexar? I think you can be anything you want, her mother replied. Above them, the stars twinkled in the night sky, no longer just distant lights, but homes to beings both strange and familiar, dangerous and kind. Among those stars, 2 species had learned a powerful lesson about each other, all because someone had made the mistake of taking human children. If you'd like,